Hey everyone, I'm Kenna, Toe Socks Ambassador. I work in the disciplines of yoga and dance and barre. So I'm going to be leading you through about a 45 minute class today that combines a yoga and a barre workout and practice. So I thought we would start with the yoga to warm up, and then we'll finish off with the barre. So we'll be using this class today to really motivate us for this transition that we're in this week. And today specifically, you'll be seeing this on Saturday, the spring equinox. So our transition from winter into spring, from our more hibernation mode into our emerging, blossoming out with more sun and more social activity, etc. So I'm hoping that this practice will encourage you to do that, feel re-energized, inspired, and ready for spring. So quickly, just to let you know what you're gonna need: mat for the first portion of the yoga. We're gonna keep that really pretty simple, so you shouldn't need much else than that. And then for the barre fitness part, obviously you're gonna want some sort of barre. I'm just using a chair, so chair works perfectly. If you're indoors and you want to use like a kitchen countertop or any sort of ledge, go for it. Anything that you can just have a little bit of weight to support you will work. Also, if you have like a little Pilates fitness ball, something that you can squeeze, a resistance band, you can also potentially use those for the barre section. So that's about it. Make sure you have your toe socks, and we'll start on the mats. And this practice is really going to be all levels accessible. It's going to be really low impact. You know, even if you are pregnant, which I am, about 7 months along, this is going to be just fine for you. So it's really designed for everybody. So I hope you enjoy. We'll begin on the mat, and we'll start in a child's pose. So when you come in child's pose, you're gonna have your big toes to touch. Your knees a little bit wider than your hips. Start from the crease of your hip joints as you move forward and down towards your mat, stretching your arms out. Place your head on the mat, nice and easy. And you roll out the forehead a few times. Here I want to invite you just to begin with your breathing. Slow, steady, full body inhales and exhales. Start from the bottom, and as you inhale, expand up through the middle to the top. And exhale, feel that gentle contraction of your body, squeezing the air out from the top through the middle to the bottom. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Hollow out your armpits. You actively reach to the sides of your body, out through your fingertips. And feel your breath really getting into your lower back body, where your kidney organs are behind your waist. It's our body's battery pack, so we want to really charge it up, get us ready to go for this session. Inhale, reach your arms over to the right to about 2 o'clock, stretching out the left side of your body. Keep the butt bones to the heels. And then inhale, reach over to the left, 10 o'clock, stretching out the right side of your body. Opening up that right side stretches our liver organ, which is the organ associated with spring, for detox, blood storage. And then inhale, come back to center and take a little twist here. Thread your left arm underneath your right. Put your shoulder, put your head down on the mat. And then open up this right arm so it can start to really revolve and turn. You can also place this hand on your sacrum at your lower back, or you can bind the forearm across the lower back and get a little more opening through that top side of your chest, your shoulder. Make sure that wherever you go in your stretches that your breath can really be there with you, so you don't have to aggressively force. You can just allow mindfully. And then switch sides. Right arm under left. Twist yourself around the central spit of your body, which runs through your middle from the base of your pelvis all the way out the top of the head, right through the center of the heart. That twist and come on up, bring yourself to a tabletop position. So when we're in tabletop, we're putting ourselves in a right angle at the wrists, at the shoulders, at the hips, at the knees. So make sure that you're really stacked. And start to inhale, round your back up to the sky. Cat posture. Exhale, hammock your belly down towards the mat and lift your tail, lift your crown, cow pose. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cow. Take a few more cycles. Back to the table. Extend your right toes back on the mat so that your leg is nice and long. And then rock your weight forward and back. So you should be feeling that you're getting a nice calf stretch. Getting those calves ready for some releves. We get into our bar. When you're back, shoulders right over your wrists from there. Go ahead and fan your left foot behind you to give you a little more stability as you put that right heel down on the mat. So the outer edge of your foot is going to be parallel to the back edge of the mat. You're still nice and stacked with this shoulder over wrist. Micro bend the elbow so you can engage your strength in the upper arm and in your shoulder joint. And inhale, extend your top right arm over. Draw some big sweeping circles, mobilizing the ball and socket shoulder joints. It has a nice 360-degree rotational capacity. Reverse. bring the heel to the outer hip. So you're getting a nice stretch in the belly of your quadricep. And then kick back, so you're creating more space between your hip and your foot. Getting into more of a back bend shape so that you can feel the stretch going up through your torso, neck, head. One more breath. And then we'll do all of that on the other side. So release, send your left toes back, and rock the weight. Pull your core muscles in to fill out your low back body. So it has this feeling of like you're wearing a corset around your ribs. Fan your right foot out, put your back heel down. Big circles with your top arm. So it's not dropped to your bottom. It's really in the middle. One more breath. And release. Come back to a tabletop. Take a deep breath. Okay, finding your way to a plank posture from here. Shoulders over wrists. And then heels over the balls of the feet. So you're still working with those right angles in your body to create lots of stability and to help you really integrate the strength of your whole body into the plank. So push down. Send your tail back towards 6 o'clock and your pubic bone forward towards 12. From here, exhale, start to push your hips up into the downward facing dog. Keep that nice little fold in the knees so that your tail is really high. It's the peak of your posture. And your heels yearn for the mat without ever quite reaching, so as to keep your low back nice and long and extended. Your head and the frame of your arms. So rather than dropping your gaze all the way back chin to chest, keep some space in the front of the neck. And then wrap your outer armpits in towards your heart center. Just a little bit of spread between the fingers. It doesn't have to be too wide. You want to contain lots of good energy there in your hands. And push the weight into the balls of the hands and into the knuckles. Light on your fingertips. Inhale, stretch the right leg all the way up and back. Flex your toes down, keep your hips level at a 3 and 9 o'clock position. Exhale, bring the foot all the way through. Come light on your fingertips. And extend from your back heel all the way out through the top of your head. This right knee should be fitting right into the notch between your collarbone and your shoulder. Full body breath. Inhale, start to extend through the front leg. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, extend through the front leg. Exhale, lunge. Do it 3 more times. Now we're getting into the hamstrings. Without hunching the mid-upper back. So I'm really extending my chest, lungs forward as my butt bones go up and back in the pyramid stretch. Let's go one last pulse up. Hold it right there and take an extra few breaths. Flex your front foot, taking it off of the gas. And just stay mindful that your hips are remaining level with one another. Another full breath, collarbones wide. Come back into a lunge, back into a plank. Put your weight on your left hand and open up into a full side plank. So some options for you. You can put your feet in a line like I have them here. You can stack them. You could put this top foot in front of you, giving you a little bit more support. Or you can always rock that first variation that we did with the bottom knee down. Reach your top arm up. We're going to tap into some core strength, oblique work. So you just lower and lift, lower and lift. Exhale up. So we're incorporating some pulses. You can exhale out through your mouth for 10. And then on 1, come back to the plank. Lift your hips up into the dog. Take a couple deep breaths. Inhale, lift your left leg. Hips stay level. So really turn your inner left thigh skyward as you keep gazing past the tip of your nose on the mat. And exhale, step through. Round your back to really get the foot up there. Fit the knee right into that little notch between your shoulder and your collarbone. Power up the back leg like there's a balloon in the thigh rising. Keep breathing all the way up into the tops of the lungs and start to inhale, pulse up with the hips. Exhale, lunge. Now you're getting that stretch into the belly of your hamstrings. Notice that I'm really maintaining that fold from my hips rather than rounding into the back. Chest is staying nice and open. Neck is long through all sides. This is a great way to protect your lower back when you're doing this pose by making sure that you're really folding from your hip joints. Okay, next time you go up, take your front foot off of the gas and hold for an extra few breaths, making sure not to lock out your front knee. So feel some good muscle engagement back here as you're stretching so that it's an active posture. For another 2. Come back into the lunge, into plank. Put your weight on your right hand, find your side plank. Rocking the variation of your choice so you feel supported, so that you feel strong to tap into your little hip pulses. Working the obliques. And micro bend your bottom elbow, and as you exhale, lift. For 10. 1, come back plank. Press the hips up, dog. Get a little opening through the front body before we start to make our way toward the end of this section. Exhale, lower your knees. Lower your chest and your chin to the mat, so the heart's coming between the thumbs, chin to the top. And then as you inhale, come forward. Feel free to put weight on the belly. I'm gonna avoid that a bit, just really get a nice lift up into the cobra pose. So tack the elbows in and back. Keep plugging through the base of your thumb and your index finger as you lift the top of your head. Big breath in. And then exhale, roll over the knees, press your hips back, and then one last time up into a dog. Walk your feet forward. Fold in. Inhale, half lift your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Again, inhale, halfway lift, putting more weight into the balls of the feet so that your hips are staying aligned over your heels rather than sinking back. Really engage and extend forward. Exhale down, pause for a breath. Okay, inhale, mini half lifts. You're not gonna go quite so high, keeping your fingertips down on the mat. So right about underneath the shoulders. Bend your knees as much as you need to get your heels up and off the mat. So here you're in a releve essentially, in a halfway lift. So we're really combining our yoga with our bar here, with our ballet. Let's pulse that a few times. Heels down, inhale, heels up. Heels down, inhale, heels up. 2 more times. Last one, you hold. Welcome to stay right here or tap into a little more strength and balance. Bring your hands to your upper outer shins and send your chest even more forward, a little bit up. Use those calf muscles to lift the heels, tone your quads, send your butt bones back, chest forward, shoulders away from the ears. 2 more full breaths. Send your wings back for a little more. Exhale, fold, and then roll up your spine. And reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, arms down, bend the knees. Inhale, arms up, stretch. Exhale, arms down, bend the knees. One more time. Inhale, reach. And then exhale. Put your arms all the way down. Okay, so that's gonna conclude our yoga warm-up. We're right about on time, so you can roll your mat up or just put it off to the side. If you wanna keep using it for bar, you're more than welcome. That's totally up to you. Okay. So now I'm gonna get my fun little fitness tools ready. Got my bar. We will start with the ball. So I'll play with some different facings, facing the camera, facing toward the bar, just so you'll be able to really see what's going on as we work through this next section. So take this ball and squeeze it between your thighs. Right above the knees, not too high, not too low. You wanna really feel like you can access that good squeeze. So all we're gonna start here with is squeezing. So make sure your feet are nice and parallel. They're about hips width distance. And you're you're just going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So now that we're starting to get into the barre class, it's very rhythmic. So, normally like in a class that I'd be teaching live to others, I'd be playing awesome music, right? But just to keep this really Instagram easy, no copyright issues, I'm keeping it music free for now. So just hold a tempo as best that you can, either with me or just at home with yourself. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. So I'm going to keep doing this and just turn to the side. And as you can see, my posture is really staying nice and upright. So the pelvis is neutral, the chest is lifted, the shoulders are back. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. So let's just keep this going with extended legs, and now start to lift your heels up so that you're in a releve. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Light hands on your bar at all times. And whenever you're in releve, make sure that you're really finding those big toe ball mounds to press down so that you're not collapsing weight into your outer ankles. And then take one arm up and overhead. Keep squeezing. Pulse, pulse, pulse. And then here you can switch arms. Maybe try both arms up, challenging your balance. Squeeze, 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 squeeze for 10. And 1. Bring it down. Put your hands back on the bar. And now keep the squeeze. Lower and lift. So essentially when we're working in parallel, these are squats. I always like to use the ballet terminology in my barre classes. So this would be a plie, which means a fold in the knees. We're keeping it parallel for now. Squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, and squeeze. And since we're on our full foot here, both arms up and overhead. Lower, squeeze, lift. Lower, squeeze, lift. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now stay down and just squeeze, pulse, squeeze, pulse, squeeze, pulse. I'm getting a little bit of upper body with this because why not? Elbows go out to the sides and up overhead. Out to the sides like goalpost arms, up overhead. Out, up, out. And then you can take that at the same rhythm as your legs if you like. Out and up. Keep squeezing the ball as you bend, pulse. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down. Hopefully you're starting to feel some nice heat building. So we're going to keep the ball there a little bit longer. Take a nice deep breath. Lift up into releve, and then bend your knees. So let's just stay in this parallel plie on the releve and squeeze, squeeze, in. So you're just squeezing what you got there between your legs. And even if you don't have anything at home like this to squeeze, you can totally do this free body and you'll still really feel something. just having that bit of resistance makes you work a little harder for it. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. For 10. Keep those heels nice and lifted. 5. And 1. Hold the squeeze. Pulse, pulse, pulse. And then again, we're gonna play arms up to balance. So you can go one arm at a time. You can go both arms at the same time. More challenge. Squeeze, lower, squeeze, lower, squeeze, lower. 10. Now just hold that squeeze, triple time bounce. It's a little baby bounce. It's super micro. Pulse, 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 pulse. 8. And 1. Full stretch. And release. Good. Okay. We're gonna take that out. Put it down. Should be feeling your inner thighs super activated at this point. Okay, let's find our first position. So I teach this very traditional. If you start in parallel, bend your knees, pivot on your heels, and find your natural turnout. So we're not gonna force anything too extreme. We're really just gonna work with the body that we have so that we stay really nice and gentle on our hip, knee, ankle joints. Because we wanna prevent injury while we get strong and build our technique doing bar. So it doesn't have to be a crazy turnout, it can just really be whatever works for you. So you'll plie, you'll stretch. Plie, stretch. Plie, stretch. Plie, stretch. So just keep doing that. And again, notice that I'm not sticking my butt back as I go down. I'm really keeping myself on a line. Shoulders over hips, head right on top. Knees are going out via the external rotation from the hip joints, and that's your turnout essentially. It's an outer rotation. So you bend, stretch, bend, stretch. Okay, let's add a little bit to this. Right arm up, left arm down. Out to the sides and switch. Out to the sides and switch. That's it. This is the slow tempo for the upper body. And then we're going to take it a little faster in both legs and arms. So you're tracing that full circle all the way around with both arms, both hands. As you pulse, first position plie. Heels are grounded for 8. One, take both arms up overhead, triple time, pulse, 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 pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Take a deep breath. Okay, now a little combo. Come up, releve in your first position. Remember, you're turning out, so inner thighs forward. Once you get all the way up, add a plie, and then heels down, full stretch. Squeeze to lift up. You're on your releve. Add a plie, and then lower your heels down, stretch your legs. That's all we're gonna do. Up, out, down, extend. Lift up, Bend out, heels release, legs extend. Releve, add the plie. Bring your heels down in the plie, stretch your legs. A little faster. Up, out, down. So we always like to play with different tempos, different rhythms in a barre class. It's super good for the body, super good for the brain. Building some new neural pathways for you to wrap your mind around. Making yourself polyrhythmic. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a little pause, full body breath. Okay, now let's add in our resistance band for just a little bit more fun. Remember, this is always optional. I'm using my light resistance band because I taught a barre class on Monday using the heavy and I'm still really sore from it. So I'm just taking it a little easier, but you can really, go as hard as you like or as mellow as you like. So finding your plie first, lift up into your releve, and then pulse, pulse, pulse. Pulse, pulse, pulse. So we can really do this one of 2 ways. This would just be like your more traditional coming up from the first position in releve. If you go to more like a barre fitness class, you're gonna oftentimes see this position where they put the heels together. So that's an option too. Let's just try both because why not? It's great to be able to do both. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Okay, now stay in your plie on your releve. I still have my heels together here. I'm just gonna go out and forward just slightly. So maybe you can just ever so slightly see this movement. It's a really small range. You're pressing out and back into the band and releasing. That's about it. Out, 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 out. So keeping our heels together just really minimizes the range. And you'll feel the difference when we open it up a little bit. And another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's open it back out. So not too wide. Proof it by just coming back into your first position, plie, releve, and then go out, 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 out. Maybe you play with finding some balance. One arm, maybe 2 arms, why not? If you're doing just one arm, switch it up after a few reps. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Really good. Okay, take a deep breath. I'm just checking our time. Okay. We're gonna do one last exercise with the resistance band. Then we're gonna do one more bigger exercise, and that's pretty much gonna finish up our session. So let's say we're working from our traditional first again. We're gonna take this outside foot. So you're gonna wanna be facing side for this with one hand on your barre. Outside foot comes into a coupe. So it's just a little point right at the ankle. It means to cut. So when we go extend forward, here's the coupe, it cuts back into the ankle. Extend, coupe. Extend, coupe. That's all we're doing. Take your arm all the way up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, keep your turnout going, 3, 2, and 1. Now bring the coupe back. Send your lifted arm forward into an arabesque. Bring it back, coupe in, back, in. So you're still turned out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring it down. Take your arm out to the side. Let's go out, in, out. Now switch the coupe to go back. Out, in, out, in. 8. Should be feeling that heart rate really revving up here as you just keep it moving. Last 2 and 1. Release. Good. Okay, turn yourself to the other side. We're starting in coupe, which is that cut position right at the ankle. So we're here. Arm comes up. Extend, bend. Tendu, coupe fondue. Tendu means to extend, to stretch, to point. Fondue is a bend on one leg, whereas plie is your bend on 2 legs. Working legs going from tendu to coupe. 8. 'Make sure you're maintaining turnout in that bottom foot and that the knee is staying in line with the ankle. 3, 2, and 1. Now bring it back. Extend your outside arm forward. Arabesque. Arabesque. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the arm out to the side. Second position. Out, coupe front. Out, coupe back. Out, in, in. Stay with your breath. Keep it light on your inside hand that's holding your bar. For 8. And 1. Great work. Okay, we can take the band off now. So that was quite a bit of turned out work we were just doing there. We're gonna finish up coming back parallel. This is gonna be full free body. So you don't need any bands or anything like that. Let's start with facing the bar. Both hands to hold. Right foot in front, left leg back. Find that lunge just to stretch for a moment. So your hips are parallel, 3 and 9 o'clock. And then bend your back knee. Bend, extend, bend, extend. Just a few more of these. Now from this bent position, we're gonna come in toward the bar and lift this back leg all the way up. Up. Come back. Split squat. Into the bar. Parallel extension. If you want more, arms up. Lift it up, hold the bar. Arms up, lift it up, hold the bar. Let's do another few. For 3, 2, on 1, hold it right here, bend your standing leg, and then just do some little pulses on that working leg back there. And if you want even more fire from this, bottom foot's coming up into releve for the last 10. And 1, bring it down. Let's turn it out, second position. Plie. And stretch. Okay, other leg. We're almost there. Let's first work the stretch. Giving a nice lift through your low belly. Up and out of your lower back. So using your core is always going to be so important for that low back safety and health, especially as you go forward and lift your leg back there. So let's just first bend, extend, for 3, and then pulse, 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 pulse. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're going to come from this position to that parallel arabesque. Arms up if you want it. Arms down as you come forward. Keep your hips parallel. Stay with your breath. Keep the control as you lift the leg, more with strength and momentum. Last 5. This last one, hold it, bend your standing leg, so there's your fondue, and now just pulse your working leg, up, up, up. You want more? Lift this bottom foot into releve. Keep your chest broad. 8, and 1. Bring it back. Rotate it open. Plie. Reach up. And release. Face back to your bar. Mini cool down. Both feet back parallel. Stretch your spine. And then bring it forward. One ankle comes across the ledge of the thigh. Figure 4 is such a great hip stretch. Put a nice flex into this lifted foot. And when you're ready to switch sides, up. Take a deep full inhale, full exhale. Okay, so if you're feeling energized and like you want to keep going, you can always lay your mat back down and finish off with some core work, and maybe do a little more cool down yoga work, supine twist, bridge, etc. But for now, I'll leave you. Thank you so much for joining in with me on this yoga bar session. I hope it served you well. Would love to hear feedback, comments. Let me know, and happy spring, everybody. So excited for this new season and this new year. It's gonna be a good one. Despite all the challenges we've been through in the last year, we're all blossoming into something better, that's for sure. So peace, love, namaste. Have a good one.